We just launched AI Skills Labs. And so these are technical assistance sessions, their group, where you can come and get that type of hands-on help. That was another thing. People kept saying, I need practice. Somebody said I paid like $1,000 for a course and I just saw stuff on like a video. Like I need hands-on help. I got that so many times.
Real time.
I need the real-time hands-on. Guess what? AI Skills Labs.
Welcome back to another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. I am so excited to share a very special guest with you. And we're going to be talking about creating your own lane. So our special guest today is none other than Quisha Umemba. Hey, Quisha.
Hey, Charyse.
Oh my gosh. You guys, let me tell you a little bit about Quisha, and then we're just going to hop into our discussion. So Quisha Umemba is the CEO of Umemba Health, a training and consulting firm that helps mission-driven organizations and entrepreneurs transform knowledge into scalable learning assets through the power of artificial intelligence. She is a registered nurse, public health practitioner, Amazon bestselling author, and recognized AI literacy and workforce development expert. Quisha brings a rare blend of healthcare expertise, instruction innovation, and AI fluency to every stage and classroom she steps into. Wildly known as the AI translator, she helps leaders and learners cut through complexity to find clarity and positions herself as the missing piece of the AI puzzle. I love that. Welcome again, Quisha.
I'm about to clone your voice and have that played before I walk out on every stage.
By all means, you got it.
And look, you know we can clone it these days.
And you know we can. We can do anything and everything. And I love that we're talking about AI today. But before we get into AI and how we can really leverage it in today's market, in our business and lives for that matter, I would love for you to kind of take us back. Take us back. Tell us, how long have you been a nurse? What type of nurse were you? So tell us about that. And then how did you even transition into having your own business?
I love it. I've been a nurse for right at about 20 years now. I thought I wanted to be an ICU nurse. I said, real nurses go to the ICU or the ER.
Right. Yeah, right.
And I spent 9 months in SICU and I thought, this is not for me at all. I absolutely hated it.
Oh my gosh.
I thought the other nurses were just mean. The nurses eat their young, right?
I don't like that.
I thought the surgeons had horrible bedside manner.
They do.
I forgot to say, I spent my first 10 years of nursing at the VA hospital in Central Arkansas. So I'm originally from Little Rock. And so I did it for 9 months and I thought, I got to get up out of here. And one thing that I love that really surprised me is I loved supporting families. I loved being with the families. And I was a night nurse and I would only see families for that last visit. And then, they'd be crying and not want to leave. And I had to let them go. And so I felt really bad. So I thought, well, I'm going to go to long-term care. There was a position that opened up and people were like, you're going to go work in the nursing home, the VA nursing home? And I absolutely loved it. I was there for about 3.5 years and I got more time with families. And of course, I got more time with patients. And over time, I started realizing that I'm still just kind of treating and streeting. I did moonlighting everywhere, ER everywhere, oncology everywhere. And I noticed, a patient would come in, let's say they had a fresh below the knee amputation. And then we would, give them education and patch them up and give them, rehab and all this other stuff. And then they come back the next year with the other leg.
No.
And I don't like this. I just really felt like this is not the type of impact that I wanted to make as a nurse. I really wanted to make people get better and become healthier. And so I went back and got at that time I had my associates. I went back and got my bachelor's and I thought, well, I've been on nights for about 5 years. It's time for me to get a normal job, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And I got a position as a clinic coordinator in an endocrinology clinic. And I thought, well, I'll go and do some, growth hormones and some growth tumors and different things like that. And 80% of my patients had diabetes. And so fast forward about 3 years later, I became a certified diabetes care and education specialist, really started looking at how can I help my patients when they're not in the clinic, because if you're lucky as a patient with diabetes, you may see your doctor 4 times a year when you're supposed to get your quarterly A1C. That's it. And we know most people don't, right? They go once or twice a year. And so started talking to my patients as I was doing health coaching and diabetes education, realizing that a lot of the challenges wasn't the diabetes. It was everything but the diabetes. It was, not being able to get their medication, not being able to afford their medication, not having the education, of course, not being able to come to the clinic, not understanding the reasons for, now I'm on insulin and I've had diabetes for 10 years and I've never taken insulin. Why am I on it now?
Yeah.
And so trying to get around some of those barriers, social and also, mindset issues and things like that. And a physician, a friend of mine, said, you should get an MPH. And I said, well, what is that? And she said, it's a master's in public health. I think it will marry perfectly with what you want to do with community health and education and things like that. And so I did. And so I like to refer to myself as the nurse that got bit by the public health bug. I know a lot of people don't understand the difference between healthcare and public health. So if you don't, healthcare is more individualized. It is taking care of one patient at a time, unless we're talking about population health. But public health is taking care of entire zip codes or entire states. And so looking at why there are certain higher rates in this particular population of a chronic condition, or whatever the disease or issue is, versus lower rates in this particular population. And so I transitioned from the bedside, quote unquote, which it seems like it's been forever. It's been about 10 years. And I went to go work as a chief nurse of the Houston Health Department, overseeing a couple of programs. So the diabetes program, colorectal program. And then we had a number of different programs that I developed while I was there: smoking cessation, stroke, hypertension, nutrition programs. It goes on and on and on. And so I know a lot of times people they think public health nursing is like tuberculosis or vaccinations, and all of that is public health nursing. But for me, it was very much developing chronic disease education campaign.
And it's so needed. Oh my God.
And it's so neat. Absolutely. So, I always say, if you're driving down the road and you see a billboard, it's like, oh, it's time for you to get your flu vaccine. Somebody in public health did that, public health communication. So, so that's how I got started. It's a little bit about my nursing journey. And I know you'll probably ask me other questions. So I'll stop there.
I love it. I always love to hear kind of, because there's so many, nursing is that field where there are endless possibilities. If you want to remain at the bedside forever, great. And even within that, you've got all these different specialties, and so I love that. And I really enjoyed hearing your journey. And so I'm curious, what then prompted you to say, I think I want to start my own business? How did you get bit by the entrepreneurial bug?
Oh, I love that. I write about that in my book. Shameless plug there.
No.
So I wrote the first book on public health entrepreneurship. It's on Amazon. It's called Public Health Entrepreneurship: Navigating the Intersection of Purpose and Profit. And when I worked at the health department, and there's a lot of different areas you can work in public health, but I speak specifically about the health department track. And anybody that's working in government, you know what I'm talking about. So I worked in that position for about 4.5 years, and it was meetings all day long. And it was going home and cooking dinner and getting my kids settled, and then opening up the laptop and then doing my work, answering and responding to emails, writing grants, technical reports, doing the budget, all of the things. And I loved it until it no longer loved me. I had some of the top performing programs and initiatives in the health department, but I never felt like I was fully appreciated. I know I was working 60-hour weeks. I had 2 cell phones all the time. I remember clearly my sister came to visit once, and I was driving Houston traffic, mind you.
Listen,
and I had my personal cell.
Already know.
And I had my personal cell, and I had my work cell. And literally every time I would stop at a stop sign, I was on one of those cell phones. And she looked at me and she said, "How do you switch gears like that?" She's like, "You thrive in that. You love that, don't you?" And it wasn't that I loved it, but it was either sink or swim.
Yeah, you probably got used to it.
I got used to it, but it was the only way I was able to do everything that I needed to accomplish. And I was able to do that until my oldest son started having some mental health challenges. And we got to talk about that because it's Mental Health Day.
Yeah, we absolutely will talk about that.
And he started having some mental health challenges, which resulted in and out of psychiatric institutions. And I couldn't keep up with life anymore and the demands of work anymore.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And when I didn't feel like that was being understood or supported, I thought, I have developed all these partnerships and MOUs. I have launched all of these initiatives. I think at that time I had 7 grants and 7 budgets that we were operating. I've done all this great stuff for this program. And I'm like, if I can do this and not be appreciated for it,
right,
I can seriously do this for myself.
Listen, well, I'm going to stop you right there for one hot second because I love that, Quisha. And I want you guys to hear this loud and clear. First of all, what I heard Quisha say is she loved it, but it did not love her back. So for any, and this is such a huge point, because for any of you that are listening that you know you're there, right? You know you're already there. You love what you do. It's not even a matter of not necessarily loving what you do. You love what you do, but it is just not loving you back, and it's not fulfilling you the way that it did. You talked about not being appreciated, and then it no longer aligned with what you have going on at home. It no longer aligned with your.
It didn't serve me. Yeah,
it didn't. So for all of you who are listening, just know, like, just if you needed a permission slip. She just gave it to you.
I just gave it to you.
She just gave it to you, okay?
I love it.
And then I love that you said you looked at all the things that you had been doing all along for everybody else. And you're like, wait a minute now. If I can do it for them, why can't I do it for myself? And I'm posing that question to you who's listening or watching right now. If you can do all that you're doing for your, for them, whoever the them is in your, work life or corporate life, if you can do all of that for them, what makes you think that you can't do it for yourself?
Yeah,
you can do it because you're doing it already. Okay.
Oh, that's it. You're already doing it. Absolutely. And when I'm working with people and they're saying, like, I can't do this, I'm like, you do it every day. Somebody pay you every 2 weeks to do it. What do you mean? And you're already doing it. Yeah, you've been doing it. Yeah. I love that. I'm fast forwarding. I want to also say this too, because I love that you provide so much inspiration and you really pour into people. When I moved to that position, I moved 8 months shy of having my MPH. And so that position was open for 2 years. They specifically needed someone that was a registered nurse, had a master's in public health, and was a certified diabetes care and education specialist. So when they found me, and I love saying I'm a unicorn. I'm a unicorn in all things, right?
Yes,
so when they found this unicorn, they said, well, we can't wait on you. We need you to come now. I had never been to Houston before in my life.
Oh, wow.
I rented a house on FaceTime with a realtor. I sold my house. I put my house on the market in Arkansas, and I moved for this position.
Listen, we will do what we need to do.
We will do what we need to do.
We will make some things happen.
And I say that to say that it wasn't because I was not scared, right?
Yeah. Sure.
But it was because I believed in my abilities. And I knew that it was going to take me in a trajectory that had I stood stagnant, I would not be where I am right now.
Yes.
So when I got to that point where I wanted to leave HHD, I actually was, I like to say, recruited by the state, who was one of our grantors at the time. They were opening up a position called diabetes nurse consultant. Now, I'm fast forwarding 2 failed businesses. I don't want to talk about those. I can, but I did start.
But it is important to even point out that.
Yes.
So a couple of things. One, because we're not going to just pass it, because I like to talk about good, bad, the ugly. We don't have to go into it.
Let's talk about it.
But I just want to highlight, she said she had 2 failed businesses. She's thriving now, right? And I bring this up because, or I kind of put a pin in it just for a second, because I had a conversation in DMs with a young lady yesterday, in fact. And so this is so timely that this is coming up. But she was saying, like, oh my God, I can't fail. I just started she's been in business for a little bit. She goes, I can't fail. And I said, wait a minute now, hold on. First of all, you can. You could. I'm not saying you will, but it's not going to be the end of the day if you do fail. So my personal perspective, I don't look at things as a win or a lose or fail. I look at it as a win or a learn. Yeah. It's an experience. And guess what? The next time, because there will be a next time that I'm going to try again, it's going to be with all the knowledge that I get to bring forward from that quote unquote failed experience. Yeah. But it's so interesting. I told her, I said, listen, your reluctancy or your resistance around even thinking, because I said, what would happen if you did fail? I'm not saying you are, but what would happen if you did? And she's like, I can't think about it. I said, I encourage you to actually think about it, because what you're going to find is, not that I want you to fail, what you're going to find is your power. You're going to find that you're resilient. You're going to find you know what, realistically, even if I fail, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
And I'd create something else. So
I always tell people, I recommend you fail.
Right?
Fail often. That's it.
Fail fast and fail often.
Get it over with.
And here's the thing, because as nurses, at the bedside, for instance, that's not failing. Is not a, quote unquote, failing is not an option. Like you have to get it right. Otherwise, it could be the difference between life and death. In business, not so much, right? Like, and so to your point, yes, fail fast and fail often, because the faster you can start failing is the faster you can start learning and succeeding. So, for those of you who are perfectionists, and we don't have time to go into perfectionism, but
retired, reformed perfectionist,
reformed and retired perfectionist here also, but it doesn't serve you. It does not serve your business at all whatsoever. So you're going to do it imperfectly. And let's be clear, perfection doesn't even exist. It's a figment of our imagination. So let's just be clear on that. And do it ugly, do it messy, and refine it along the way.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. MVP is the name of the game. Minimum viable product.
That part.
The name of the game.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. So you want me to get back to the story? So I went to the state as the diabetes nurse consultant for the state of Texas. And the reason I took a $13,000 pay cut, which we felt, by the way, and I relocated to Austin, which is like more money.
It's
more living expenses.
It's more expensive,
but less money. Right. Absolutely. And so I did that because I thought, okay, I want to be a consultant. I don't really know what a consultant is. And I was going to get, I was actually in school. I was getting my doctorate. So I did one semester. And then my son had started having issues. And I was like, you know what? Let me take this job that has the word consultant in it, because I think that if I just get the experience where I'm working as a consultant, that will trump me going to get a doctorate. That was my thought process. I didn't have the mental capacity at that time to finish the program anyway. So I realized consulting is just providing advice and technical assistance to people based on what I know.
Right.
I'm like,
I could do this.
And people pay all this money.
I know, they pay me double or triple. Okay.
And that's what they pay me, and that's what they'll pay me to do. So I was in that role about 6 months in. I was bored out of my mind. For anybody that's been in government, anybody that's worked for this state or federal level for that matter, and especially if you have my personality or our personality, I would say if you are a multi-passionate overachiever and you kind of do things like this, you don't
don't work for the government.
You can work there, but you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle because we have to have creative outlets.
Yes.
We work at a very fast pace. I personally like asking for forgiveness, not permission.
I'm with you.
And when it comes to if I'm working with a client or community and they need something, I don't have time to wait on 20 levels of approval. I need it yesterday.
Right.
And so I remember 6 months in, I told my husband, I said, I'm going to start another business. I said, this time I'm going to actually do what I do every day at work, which was helping to consult with organizations to put a component of their diabetes programs in the virtual courses, virtual coaching, things like that. And this is pre-COVID. So people were like having knee-jerk reactions that they just could not conceive being able to do it.
Right.
So I started Umemba Health, and in our first iteration of the business was virtual training, virtual coaching, virtual diabetes, hypertension, kidney disease. Those are the only 3 things I focused on. Whatever I was learning, and I was learning things like these are the best virtual platforms. These are the ones that are HIPAA compliant. These are the ones that require a BAA. These are the ones like if you have a webcam and you're doing virtual, you can show somebody how to drop insulin. You can use this tool and show them how to insert. And so I was going there and then teaching them, this is how you use this curriculum. This is how you need to train your people. I wish I had been doing that about 5 years prior to COVID, because I think I'd be making a lot more money. But I say all that to say, when COVID came 6 months later, guess who was already in the space doing virtual everything?
Love it.
Workshops, webinars, courses, training, all of that. So I had this opportunity that when it happened, one, I was able to start training people quicker, but I was also still working full time. So my employer caught wind of it, and my manager says, Quisha, we heard you started a business on the side, and it's a perceived conflict of interest because you could potentially use your connections at the state to get contracts. So you're going to have to close your business or be terminated. And I cried for 3 days. And my husband reminded me on the 3rd day, he said, aren't you a nurse? Can't you go work anywhere? And I literally was like crying, and I looked at him and was like, Oh, I
Good
forgot.
Good point. Thanks for the reminder.
Because when you're off the floor, you know,
Yeah.
I had functioned outside of a clinical nurse in a while, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, this is all I can do. And
Right.
so I chunked them the deuces. I gave them a 30-day notice.
Good for you.
I always give a good notice.
Okay.
I gave them a 30-day notice. I put Umemba Health on my resume. I put it on my LinkedIn. I
Love
put
it.
it on my cover letter, and I said verbally, because I do think that whatever you speak into exists, it
Absolutely.
comes true. And I said the next organization that hires me is going to hire me because of Umemba Health, not in spite of it. And I want to say about 3 months later, a value-based care agency called and said, we've got to put all of our trainings virtually. Can you come and do for us what you do for Umemba Health? And
I love it.
I worked that job for 2 years before I then went full time into Umemba Health, which I've been for the last 4 years full time.
I love it. So full time in your business for the last 4 years.
Full time in my business, yeah, for the last
That's
4
beautiful.
years.
That is so beautiful. And so tell us, and I know, businesses evolve just as we as people evolve, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know right now, everything that I say, I love looking at your content, and it's all AI focused. So talk to us a little bit about
Yes.
AI, what you're doing with AI, how we as
Yeah.
how we in the holistic health and functional medicine space, how we can start leveraging AI if we're not already, but even if we are, how we can better leverage
Yeah.
AI to make our
Yeah, let me tell you how I got into AI. I love talking about my pivots. I think my business has been through so many, I'll say at least 3 to 5.
And let me say this: if you are not good at pivoting, you will be when you become an entrepreneur.
Yes,
For sure.
absolutely.
It's part of it. It's part of the
It's
course.
part of it, right?
It
So
is.
yeah. And so I'm big on following the trends. 2 years ago, I hated AI. I saw the first webinar. A fellow nurse entrepreneur introduced me to it. I literally clutched my invisible pearls and said, I will not. I'm an intellectual that is cheating. I didn't think about like fears or concerns or privacy or robots taking over. I didn't think about anything. I thought, I got all my degrees and everything on my own. Like, this is cheating.
Yeah.
And she said, Quisha, you sound like our parents in the 70s that were not receptive to the computer. And I thought about my dad, who was a retired teacher that can barely turn on a computer, and my mom that doesn't even know how to operate a DVD player. And I thought, let me.
Was that me?
Yeah, let me do something, right?
Yeah.
So when I joined the AI consultant certification program, maybe a month later, and this has been almost 2 years now, I didn't do it at all to be offering training and consulting and coaching and AI services. I just literally did it because I didn't want to get left behind. I knew this was the trend. I knew it was coming. And like you said, get on the AI train or get left behind.
You're gonna get run over.
Get run over.
It's not even that AI is the future. AI is the present.
Yeah.
It really, and it will become even more the future. Yeah, absolutely. And just like internet. Now we can't imagine our lives without
internet. Don't want to imagine it without the internet.
Please don't let my Wi-Fi go down. We're in trouble.
What will I do?
Like we're totally incapacitated.
Right.
But there was a point in time, and I remember I think I was in nursing school. I think I was in nursing school when AOL, like, that noise, and but there was so much resistance and hesitation and fear around it. And like I said, now fast forward 30 years later, there's no way in the world we could even we can't even wrap our mind around not having internet access. So that's such is true with AI. So tell us more about AI.
So if you know anything about what's been happening with this current administration, and so being a public health consultant, let me just say what we do in Umemba Health. We are training professional development consulting agency. So our ideal client is health and social service agencies, public health, nonprofits. We do a lot of academia, and we also do some entrepreneurs as well. So I've been coaching the last 3 years, small business owners, solopreneurs, creatives, etc. Well, most of our training for the last 4.5 years has been tied to DEI initiatives.
Oh,
so
interesting.
If you know anything, if you've not been living under a rock, of 2025, you know that is not a priority of this administration. And I'll just say that and leave that. So 80% of the funding, 80% of the projects and clients that we had, that's where that money came from, which was a good insight, because I was like, oh, I got to flip this. I only got 20% of corporate clients and 80%. I'm like, oh, I don't never want to be in this situation again. And so I knew this year that I needed to look and say, okay, we're going to have this president and this administration for the next 3 years. My business is not going to be able to function like this. What are this administration's priorities? Because knowing that I deal with federal clients, that I deal with government contracts, I still need that federal money, right? And it really, when I look back at the priorities of this administration, I'm like, I'm not trying to do no make America healthy again. Vaccines don't interest me, even though I believe they're important. What else? The food stuff and the dye and the food and all that stuff doesn't interest me. But I realized as I was getting my AI consultant certification that the AI action plan was being developed by this administration. And I was following all of the moves and all of the partnerships and all of the initiatives that were coming out of the White House about AI. And so I was actually on my baby moon with my two best friends, and we were watching TV. And there was like a Texas politician, that said by the year, whatever, we want every small business owner trained in AI literacy. And I literally looked at my friend and said, give me my phone, give me my phone. And I opened up my notes app, which is where I kind of keep all of my working mental thoughts. And I wrote down AI literacy for small business owners, AI literacy for entrepreneurs, AI literacy for educators, AI literacy for nonprofit leaders. Your mom was going. My mom was just going, and I'm like, and I looked at them and I said, everybody needs AI literacy. And I then decided this is where I'm going to pivot and focus, because like you said, it's not going anywhere. And we did some market research. We had a lot of conversations with leaders, with even college students, and even with my son that is being encouraged as a 10th grader to use AI. I realized people really don't know what AI is. They when we talk about, I actually did a workshop before this, and I show this image called the AI iceberg. And I say, ChatGPT is here above the water, and everything else is here. Because when you say AI, people think it's synonymous with ChatGPT. And so, in doing the market research and doing the interviews with people, I learned so much about just what they didn't know and what was needed. And I actually took all of those pain points.
I love it.
And I created solutions out of those pain points.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there for 1 second. Did you hear what she said? This is one thing that I teach my clients all the time. Stop creating in a vacuum. Do the market research. Ask the questions. And when I find that, we're like, but I feel like I should already have the answer. Here's the thing. You don't have to have the answer. And the reality of it is the answer is in your client and your potential client. All you got to do is ask the questions. So do the market research, find out their pain points, find out what's working, what's not working, what they would love to see or have that they can't find anywhere. That's the gap. You have literally identified the gap, and now you can fill that gap. So I love it.
I'll give you an example. Talk to several people.
I would say find 10 people, not just people, 10 of your ideal clients.
That's it.
10 of your ideal clients, and ask them. Like I said, the questions I just asked, I have a whole section of this in my program, many of my programs, but it's so important. You cannot skip this step. You can skip it if you want to, but you don't want to.
You can't. I mean, and you can use, I use chat. Chat's my brainstorming partner, right? My favorite question to ask chat is, what keeps my ideal client up at night?
Yes.
Right. I use it also for social media, right? Content to create avenues.
Absolutely.
But what keeps them up at night? And then afterwards I say, and what are the solutions that I can provide that will help them get a good night's rest? That will cover, address these issues. And so, just one example that I kept hearing from so many entrepreneurs and even, kind of medium-sized business owners is, I am the in-house expert when it comes to AI. So who do I go to when I have a question? Like, I'm the one that's responsible for training. There is no IT. I'm the IT.
Yeah.
And so now we have AI skills labs.
Oh, nice.
At
Umemba Health?
At Umemba Health, absolutely. We just
love
launched AI Skills Labs. And so
mm-hmm.
these are technical assistance sessions, their group, where you can come and get that type of hands-on help. That was another thing. People kept saying, I need practice. Somebody said I paid like $1,000 for a course, and I just saw stuff on like a video. Like, I need hands-on help. I got that so many times.
Real time.
I need the real-time hands-on. Guess what? AI Skills Labs, right?
Love it.
And so that's just one example, but that's what we're doing now. So we do training, which we've always done. Mm-hmm. We're doing a lot of AI. We're actually in the middle of a 12-week AI literacy campaign. So I still very much run my business as if it's a government entity. I know if I'm going to continue to get grants or if I'm going to continue to secure bids through RFPs, I've got to have past performance. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just generating my own past performance so that Perfect. I can score higher than someone else that is going after the same opportunity. Mm-hmm. So we're doing those workshops. We've got free courses. We just, we're pending CPT accreditation, which stands for Continuous Professional Development, for all of our AI trainings and workshops. One thing I like to do is I do consider myself a sole source provider. It's how I've gotten a lot of my contracts. And so I will position myself in business where you don't have to go and get 3 quotes because nobody else is doing what we're doing at Umemba Health.
Okay, we're gonna stop there.
I knew you were about to stop right there.
Listen, because one thing I say it in a lot of my content, but I feel like a broken record sometimes when I say you want to position yourself in a category of one.
Yes.
Meaning, and I feel like I say this, I feel like a broken record. No one can do what you can do the way you can do it.
Yeah.
And so did you hear what Quisha just said? You can get 3 other bids. but you're not going to find anyone that can do what you do the way that you can do it.
Yeah.
And so creating your own category, that way there's no comparison.
There's no competition. There's no competition. I have indirect competition, of course. I asked ChatGPT this as well. I don't have direct competition. I have indirect competition. Yeah. And one of my biggest competitors is Public Health Foundation, which is way out of my league. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't even, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
But guess who just wrote me a letter of support for the RFP that we're applying for to do AI training at an organization, the Public Health Foundation. Guess who's sponsoring the AI panel for their next conference that happens in November, Umemba Health. Like,
lovely.
There's ways that you can position yourself, but you also have to be bold. And I know we've skipped through a lot. If you get my book, you'll probably read some of it. But there's so many ways that I am just, even when I'm scared, like you said, do it ugly and do it messy. One of the things that I always tell people is do it scared. I'm scared half the time.
Right. And that's okay.
and that's okay.
Not only is it okay, it's to be expected. It is to be expected, and it's all good. And guess what? You might be scared that first time. You might be even a little scared the second time. By the third time, you're in your groove.
Yeah, that's
it. 6th time? Oh, listen.
You are the expert, right?
You are off to the races. And so be okay. Don't allow the fear to hold you hostage and prevent you from moving forward.
Yeah.
And also don't be deluded to think that, eventually I'll not feel scared. The only way to not feel scared, the only way to transcend that fear and that fear is to get in action. Mm-hmm. You've got to do the doggone thing.
Yeah.
And you start to slowly but surely that fear starts to dissipate. Yeah. So love this. I want to make sure before we run out of time here, I want to make sure that we talk a little bit about mental health because it is Mental Health Day. And you mentioned, your son having challenges. And we know as entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship can, not that even being a bedside nurse that could definitely take a toll on your mental health. But even as an entrepreneur, it can take a toll on your mental health. Yeah. So what can you share with us about protecting your mental health, particularly when you're in business for yourself? Yeah.
So I like to say, building a business without breaking down. I'm one of those people, when I say I absolutely love entrepreneurship, I love the bad days. Like, I love the good, bad, ugly, and scary of entrepreneurship. But last year, when I was going through personal challenges, before we were successful in getting pregnant, I went through IVF and a whole bunch of other things that you are familiar with, and I'm not going to get into here, but it took me down. There was like a 6-month period where I was out for the count. Mm-hmm. And before then, I had never experienced my mental health being affected by my business, it was so bad. There were times where I couldn't even like come to the office.
Yeah.
Or if there were meetings I just had to have, my camera was off and I would lie and say, I'm sorry, I'm having issues with my webcam right now, because I couldn't fake the funk. I couldn't show, I couldn't do any of that.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what it showed me is, because for that one quarter, I made the highest quarter in one of those. So it was about 6 months. In 3 of those months, I made $108K.
Yeah.
And I was depressed and I could barely work. And what I learned during that time is I was doing too damn much.
Right.
Because I could only focus on what I needed to move the business forward, which was lead gen and doing my client deliverables.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally was working, I don't know, 3 hours a day, if that, right? Most days of the week, not even every single day of the week, and made more money than in the 6 years, December will be 6 years, more money than I ever made.
Yeah.
And it made me realize I was teamed too much. I was doing too many things. That all I need to do is focus on bringing in clients and taking care of the clients that we have. And that is it. And going forward, that's what I try to protect right now. Now, are there times where I'm busier? Yeah, right now I'm pivoting. I'm doing a soft launch. We're doing the AI.
And you have a newborn.
I have a newborn.
The cutest little thing ever.
I have 2 new team members. I'm outsourcing work. I've got 4 new subcontract. Like, we're applying to RFPs. But when we're not going through this type of thing, I'm working 4 hours a day.
That's right.
And that's it.
That's right. Listen, and what I'm hearing you say, and it's so important to get this, is it comes back down to really Pareto. It's 80-20. 80-20. Because 80-20. At the end of the day, the 2 things, if there is nothing else, there are 2 things that absolutely have to be done. Lead gen, getting new clients, and servicing your current clients. That's it. Now, of course, we know there's lots of things in the periphery.
Right.
Cool. Those actually have to be outsourced. So actually, the lead gen could be outsourced, but in terms of client delivery, okay, that's you for the most part. But getting really clear on keeping the main thing of what's most important. And it is those 2 things that I just mentioned. Yeah. So, and I know for some people that are listening who might be early in their business and they're like, well, I can't afford to hire. I can't afford to outsource. I can't afford to do all this. True initially. But my thing is always this: go all in on your business. And as soon as you're able to outsource, I don't care if it's a VA. You get that VA and you give her everything except for those 2 things. Well, she could do the lead gen, he or she could do the lead gen, but remember, give her the 80%. You focus on the 20.
Because I remember paying a VA before I could pay myself. Absolutely. That was the first thing, and I credit that always, is that I brought people on early. Like, as soon as I started making money, I was like, whoop, let me hire somebody. Because social media, I don't like to do. I do it now because you have to. Right. But that was like, and that's you can use AI, which is so much better, right? So, but protecting, do what you have to do, and then outsourcing is a good protection. But I would always also say I stay in therapy. Like, I've been in therapy off and on since I was dealing with the stuff my son was going through, and he was 16, then he's 23 now. Yeah. But I think that if you don't have a good therapist, having entrepreneurial friends, because I'm telling you, entrepreneurship can be lonely. My husband does not understand. No one gets it. Family does not understand. No. My friends that are not entrepreneurs do not understand. They have the best of intentions. Right, of course. But you got to get you an entrepreneurial circle. I don't care if you're paying for a coaching community or some type of community, or you just in it by association or membership or something like that. It's a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. It has guided me through. And that way, you're not alone. What you're going through is normal. Oh, you're pivoting again? Oh, girl, you got this. You're not starting from scratch. You start from experience. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Instead of judgment from people who may not understand, like, oh, she's always changing her mind. No. Like, do yourself a favor. And like Quisha said, get in a community of entrepreneurs, like the Quantumly Collective, shameless plug. But still, get someplace. And there's nothing wrong with therapy as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, and both, if you're really about it, like both
Right.
and. I'm always like, I don't want to have to pick one or the other. Both and.
Right.
So, and it's so important.
And I'll say one more thing too.
Sure.
Prioritize your health. I let my health go in starting my business, and of course, you know, the IVF and all the other stuff. But even before the IVF, I was in office.
It's easy to do.
It was easy to do. I let myself go. Now, you know, I just posted about this other day. I'm up at 5:30, three times a week. I got a 10-week-old. I prioritize my health. That was not something I was doing until last year, because your mental health is connected to your physical health. And now I'm like, I have to protect my mental and my physical health. And it makes me feel so much better. And I can run my business so much better.
Yes, absolutely. It's, and again, any high performing entrepreneur will tell you the same. Like prioritizing your physical health. And basically, when you do prioritize your physical health, you're automatically prioritizing your mental health. Because I don't know if you've ever seen the meme, or it's not a meme, but it's like an infographic that floats around from time to time, and it's like, if you're depressed, work out. If you're tired, work out. If you're anxious, work out. If you whatever it is, go work out. Right. And so it's a non-negotiable as well. So therapy, community of like-minded entrepreneurs, working out, prioritizing your physical health. Absolutely. Again, all of those are non-negotiables. And I know if you're listening and you're just now, you know, at the beginning stages of your business, you're like, well, I don't have time to do all of that, because you might be balancing, you know, your current job with your business and all the things. Whatever you could do. I don't care if that's a 10-minute walk. I work out twice a day. My morning workout is my workout. Like I'll do cardio, I'll do strength training with my trainer and all that, or even if I'm not with my trainer, I'll still do strength training. But then when my evening walk, that is
a walk. I'm walking my dog. Or strolling my baby now.
I have an invisible dog. Okay. I have an invisible dog, but getting back out in nature, decompressing, just, you know, not in front of a computer, not in front of anything. At halftime, I don't have music on. I'm just walking and clearing my mind. But I get the best thoughts and best downloads and best ideas when I'm walking. So it's almost like I try not to ever miss my walk, because one, I crave it, but two, I know. I said, okay.
And see, that's why I don't like walking with people.
You're gonna give me something.
I don't like walking with people, because I want that download.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, exactly. I love it. So we have covered so much. I want to just mention this because, again, you're AI queen, amongst other things. But I hear this often, and I'm guessing you probably hear it often as well, just around creating content. I know this is the tip of the iceberg, but around creating content or being consistent on social media, if you're building your business and your brand on social media, y'all, if y'all are not leveraging AI to help you with social media, if the whole concern around being consistent and knowing what to post or whatever, please. For the love of everything, can you talk us a little bit about that?
Just a little bit. You know, I'll give you an example.
That'll buy you back time.
Yeah, so much time. Let me tell you what I did. And I have two AIs that do my graphics, right? But the strategy behind it, I will handle that myself. So I just launched the AI Skills Lab. The landing page literally went up yesterday, because I knew I was having that workshop with the organization today. I wanted to upsell them and get their staff in. And once I got finished, you know, fleshing out the details, I actually ran the page through ChatGPT and asked it to score the conversion ability. And it came back and said, this is a 90% conversion ability. There's a couple of words you need to tweak. This sentence needs to be more outcome based. Y'all, you know how much you would have to pay a marketing strategist to give you that kind of feedback?
Thousands, because I've done it, and I'm sure you have too. And I've done it more than once. How about this? I've done it more than once.
Thousands of dollars to be able to do that. So a lot of people don't realize AI, you can use it as team members, right? Absolutely. I have clients that I've worked with that I've taught them, you use it as your chief financial officer. I actually put my bid in. We started a family business a couple of months ago. It was my push gift. My husband invested in some money.
I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, and so I want to start. I'm not even gonna say what I want to say. Some stuff you gotta keep to yourself. But anyway, so I had the opportunity to invest in this business, and it didn't fail. It was my first. But I went to ChatGPT and I said, I want you to act as my chief financial officer. I'm going to tell you about this business opportunity, and I want you to give me the considerations, things that I should ask the seller, and all of this. And when I went back to her, she was like, nobody's even asked this. This is something else. So, I mean, you can use it as members of your team. But after I, finished with the conversion, going over the copy for the sales page, I then said, okay, this particular thing, it closes November the 3rd. I want to promote this. I want there to be a sense of urgency. Make sure to create some content. I'm going to put it on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I want to post 3 times a week. Should be the call to action. Go ahead and generate that content from now until November 3rd. I literally hit send and just went to bed.
That's it.
I don't even know what it says.
It doesn't matter. What? Once you train it to your own
Absolutely.
voice and your and all the specific. Once you train it to be you.
Yeah.
You can set it and forget it.
Right. So now I just share the link. Yeah, I can just share the link, copy and paste it, put it in a Google Doc or something, and give it to my VA, and they then can create the content from it. Right. And so if you're not using it, and that's just like you said, tip of the iceberg. Like, we do training and development. I've been paid thousands of dollars to do a training that I literally put together the day before. I've done it where I've literally put together a presentation using presentation apps, AI apps, where I've done it like 2 hours before the training, and people are blown away.
Right. Here's the thing. Like I said, it's buying back your time, because that's usually one of the main things as well. Women, moms, women who wear multiple hats, right? Yeah. Entrepreneurs, all that. We just don't have the time. There's time.
You have the subject matter expertise.
You are the subject matter expert.
Yeah.
So, man, like I said, if you're not yet leveraging AI, and at least in that capacity, do yourself a favor, because you really are doing yourself a disservice, and you're creating your own bottleneck.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we're in the fast lane, and we just waving at you as we go by.
Right. It's like, come on, come on, your blinker, and come on over. Like, what you doing?
Exactly.
I love it. This has been so refreshing and so great. We've covered so many things. If you had to leave them with one word, one word or one thought, what would that be, Quisha?
Find something that you love doing so much you would do it for free, and then figure out how to charge for it. And if you want to even put that in ChatGPT, if it knows you, if you trained it, it will tell you. That's exactly what I've done with, when I was a nurse, I loved training. I loved educating people. When I was in public health, that's what I did. I just started developing educational programs and building out full programs. When I became a consultant, I do the exact same thing. Now that I've incorporated AI, I'm a tech girl now. It is the same exact thing. I love learning. I am a lifelong learner. I love training other people. I love breaking down complex topics. That's why I call myself the AI translator.
I love that.
I would do it for free. I'm just not.
But you bet not.
I'm just not.
You hear me? But you bet
not. Yeah, I'm just not. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. And I know, so everyone's probably going to be, okay, how can I get in touch with her? We'll make sure that we drop your links down below. But what is the best way to connect with you?
Quisha Umemba on all social media platforms. If you're interested in AI training or coaching, you can go to Umemba Health on all social media platforms. Our website is umembahealth.com.
Perfect. And no one can spell Quisha or Umemba. So, like I said, we'll put all of that down in the show notes. So have no fear. We got you covered there. And so, are you ready for a little rapid fire?
I'm kind of scared, but let's go for it.
It's fun. Okay. All righty. Well, I'll start off with something easy.
Okay.
Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Brad Pitt.
I love Brad. Brad's a cutie now. He's a cutie. Okay. See, that was easy. You didn't even have to.
I know, but I mean, everybody remembers their celebrity crush.
That's true. Mine was Ralph Tresvant from New Edition.
Ooh.
Yeah. I love me some Ralph. Okay. If you were stuck on a deserted island, what's the one thing that you absolutely would have to have?
Oh my goodness. By myself? I'm gonna say my husband.
Okay, that works. All right, hubby for sure.
He can go and forage and get us food and stuff to eat, and then I won't be alone.
That's right. So now that you have so you and hubby. So outside of a person, because I'm with you on that, I would need my husband for sure. Because I wouldn't stand a chance. But outside of your husband, what's the one thing that's a non?
A knife.
Okay. All right. You know what mine is?
What's that?
Lip gloss.
Really?
I can listen. I do not like dry lips.
That's so funny. I would have said a sale, but I was like, I probably don't even have like Wi-Fi. So what? But if I have a knife, like I can make stuff, I can kill stuff, I can stab a fish. You know, I can defend myself.
That's very practical. That's very, and I love it. Me, I can't stand dry lips. So there's that. Okay. So, what would you say is the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Quitting my full-time job. I was making, right at 6 figures. Wasn't supervising anybody. It's hard to make 6 figures and not supervise anybody. Not stressed. I could finish all of my work in 2 days. That's how I really built my business. And when I started making more money in my business than I was making at work, I left and people thought I was crazy. But it's been the best decision I ever could have made. Yeah,
I love that. And what gave you the courage? Because you didn't have to leave. You could have, if you could get all your work done in 2 days, right? I mean, you really could have done both for probably a good length of time. I know your boss ended up saying something, but outside of that, what gave you the courage to say, you know what?
Yeah. So this was corporate America at this point after I left the state. One, I upsold them on my services as I was leaving. So I knew that they were.
I love that. Okay.
So I actually had them as a client for about 18 months. And they reassured me, hey, Quisha, we wish you the best of luck. If it doesn't work, you can always come back. That's what's good about going to a progressive type of corporate organization. But ultimately, I know me, and I know it has to work or it has to work.
Okay, that part.
So it's not a failure thing. Even if I fail, it's like you said, you win or you learn, right? So for me, it's gonna work because it has to. Because I know me, and anything I put my mind to, I accomplish.
That's right.
So I'm not scared of what I can accomplish. I might doubt you and what you're capable of, but I don't doubt myself and what I'm capable of.
Exactly. Love it. Like I always say, you know what? I'm not a betting woman, but I will always bet on myself.
That's it.
Always. So,
that's it.
All right. Last one. I think it's the last one. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one.
It is definitely business.
I got it this morning in a text. You're an inspiration. I got it in a DM and I got it in a text. One from a stranger in the DM.
Love it.
And one from a friend, somebody you know.
Oh, I bet you I know who it is too. I don't know if I know or not. I'll guess later off camera. But that's awesome. Okay, I love it. Last question. I promise it's the last one. What would you say is your guilty pleasure?
Right now, oh my God, it is the Biscoff Nothing Bundt Cake. Baby, don't go get it. If you like Biscoff cookies, do not stay away.
Listen, I just found out there was ice cream. My husband told me, he's like, did you know there was ice cream? Biscoff ice cream? I said, no, and don't bring it. Don't you dare bring it in your house, please.
I had one, and my husband bought 2, and I looked at him and I was like, eat the other one now. So I would say that is my guilty pleasure, is the Biscoff Nothing Bundt Cake.
Okay, so here's the thing. I did not know that existed, but there is a Nothing Bundt Cake like 2 minutes from here, and they just opened. Like they just opened, and I promised. I said, don't even go over there. But now that you mention it, Quisha, I think I should go and check it out.
You got to see if I'm a woman of my word.
I need to find out. I got to validate, right? Because I love Biscoff cookies. And my husband asked me the other day, he was like, I don't understand why you like these. I said, that's okay. Don't worry about it.
You have to like cinnamon.
They're safe with me.
Yeah.
No worries. So I love that. All right, Quisha, this has been amazing. It's been so much fun.
Yes.
I've enjoyed our time together. Thank you so much for sharing your time, your brilliance, your insights, and all the things. And so, like I said, we'll make sure that we link everything down below so that way you can connect with Quisha and definitely continue on your AI, either get on your AI journey or continue on your AI journey and really accelerate that. And that being said, you guys, as always, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. And I'll see you next time on another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. Bye for now.